Hi everyone, Shane R. Monroe here. We're going to make a couple of assumptions as part of this tutorial. The first is that you have EmuDeck installed and you have the MAME emulator installed right here. If you do not, go ahead and install that now. You're going to need this. So I've got it all installed. Everything is fine. Open up your favorite browser. Go to the URL that's in the description. It's probably changed from the one that you're seeing here, so use the one from the description. Otherwise, you're not going to get the right set of files. And it'll do a direct download. Save this to your downloads as a .zip file. Some browsers will mangle that extension. Very small. This is a setup pack to make this as easy as humanly possible. Open up the Dolphin File Manager. Go to your downloads in one side. If you don't have dual pane, hit that split button. Downloads in one side, go to your EmuVirtual folder or wherever you have your emulation folder at if you use somebody else's tutorial. Open up Emulation, go into ROMs, and then, of course, Apple II. That's where we're going to dump the contents of this. Right-click apple2.zip and extract with Auto Detect subfolder. You'll get an Apple II folder. Open that up, grab the entire contents of what you see there, drag it over, and drop it into your Apple II folder. This seems really easy, and it is, but believe me, putting together that Apple firmware file was not an easy task. So I'm saving you hopefully a lot of time here. We're going to run ESDE now. This is where we're going to launch our games from. Sorry if you're a Steam ROM Manager user, I'm not going to cover that today. So now you have an Apple II. But you do need to go over and change your alternate emulator for the Apple II from Lin Apple, which will be the one that it defaults to MAME standalone. That's what we're looking for. So Lin Apple's what it used to be. We want it to be MAME standalone. MAME standalone. Okay. Now we've got everything set up. Everything is where it needs to be. We're ready to actually play a little bit. Now, I've got a wide variety of games here. Most of the things were games that I played on the Commodore 64, like Dino Eggs here. So this is not a full, deep, comprehensive look at how to change discs and things like that. I just want to get you up and running with a handful of games. So after running the game, it pretty much just boots. You can hear the drive access in the background, which is kind of cool. So there's already a joystick set up by default. It'll be the right analog stick along with the A and B buttons. Always choose Apple joystick, not Atari joystick. Apple joystick, if you're ever asked. Most of the time, it'll just be by default. All right, so I just wanted to play just a few moments of this so you can see how the emulation looks. A lot of people, including myself, spent a lot of time on green screen Apple IIs back in my scholarly days. This has always been one of my favorite games. I even wrote a Windows port of it. Never quite saw the light of day, but it was still pretty cool. Remember, the Apple II joystick has two buttons, unlike the Commodore 64. So one is for jumping here, and the other one is for actions or grabbing and warping out, of course. So yeah, it looks great. As good as an Apple II game can look, and it sounds great. Sounds just like the Apple stuff that I remember playing as a kid. Oh, there's the Dino Mom attack. Can't have that. Let's get that fire started and keep her away. There we go. All right, well, that's probably enough of this. I mean, listen, it's Dino Eggs. You love it or hate it. Now, use your Steam menu button to go over here to the Apple II window and hit X to close it. There is no button configuration yet to escape. Let's try something that's a little more complicated. This is a multi-game launcher disc. There's a lot of these, and probably the game you want to play is on one of them. So let's see how this looks. If you don't have a physical keyboard, you're going to have to use the keyboard overlay. I highly recommend, if you're going to do computer-based emulation, you have a mouse and keyboard. Okay, so I'm going to hit I on the keyboard here. So I'm going to bring that up, hit I, and it's going to run Sabotage. Boy, I played so many hours of this in the computer lab at school. It's terrible shells. I have to hit the Y button, right? So you're going to have to bring I use the physical keyboard. That's how I got up without not plugging one in there. Man, I played a lot of this. We played a lot of this. You cut their little parachutes off and they fall to their deaths. Let me see if I can get one of these. It's going to be so aggressive. Come on, get that parachute. Get the parachute. There we go. Splat. Great game. All right, let's get out of here. The same thing again. We're going to use the Steam menu, hit X on the window, and we're back. All right, we can do a little bit more here. Why not? This is pronounced how everybody has a different pronunciation of this game. Jordan Mechner calls it Karateka. Karateka is what Jordan Mechner, the actual developer of the game, calls it. I've always called it Karateka because that's how the Broderbund commercials on TV called it. And then, of course, there's people that say it's Karateka, blah, blah, blah. Jordan Mechner calls it Karateka. So Karateka is probably the correct way to pronounce it. It's his game, after all. It's kind of weird that there's no sound here at the beginning, because on the 64 version, there's wind sounds and everything. Apple II was just a little more crippled. Well, there's a little bit of sound. All right, we'll just get into a little bit of the game, just to make sure everything's good. So that's how these multi-boot games, multi-boot discs work for games. You have to be able to get access to that keyboard, or at least be able to bring up the virtual one. Again, highly recommend if you're going to do any sort of computer-based emulation, get a physical keyboard. For some reason, I thought it ran faster on the Apple, but I guess it didn't, unless the emulation is just poor here. I never played this on the Apple. I played it on the Commodore 64, and this is how fast it was. It was not a speedy game, not what you would call arcade action. It's a little bit on the, I don't know, what would you call that? Slow side. Okay, well, I think that's enough of that. I got one more game that we used to always play in the computer lab all the time. So another Broderbund game, oddly enough, which is Droll. A little soft spot in my heart for this game, too. So I think we played with the keyboard back in the day for this game. I always liked this game. I think this might have been the first game I saw outside of the arcade, of course, because Defender had and Stargate had a little map display at the top. But this might be the first home game that I saw that had that mapping on top. Just a standard, you know, horizontal shooter type game. I mean, nothing super exciting, but I remember it looking pretty good. It's sounding pretty good. I think it's pretty good. All right, listen, that's enough for this. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell. You guys know what to do. I'm Shane R. Monroe. Thanks so much for watching. And if you like what we're doing here, leave a comment. That would be great. What Apple II game was your favorite? I'll tell you, I showed you mine. Now you show me yours. I'm Shane R. Monroe. Thanks for watching. Take care.